Good morning, guys. It is Wednesday, November 13th, and I am on my way to work. I was supposed to work out today, but I did not end up working out this morning. But one thing I can say though is that this morning is a much better morning than the previous mornings, just because I've had an adequate amount of sleep. So I'm feeling much better today. Today I'll be heading home in between meetings, just to make sure I don't come home too late today, as I have come home quite late the other days. Alright, it looks super crowded ahead of us. We'll be taking another route today. Alright. I never take this route, but this is such a beautiful ride. Beautiful trail. Around the lakes. I'm wearing a plain white shirt today, so I need to slow down a bit so I don't get to the office super soaked from sweat. I have a tendency to just give it all when I bike, and that ends up causing my shirt to be super soaked, so I'll try not to make that happen today. I'm actually not sure if this route is that much faster. I don't think so. But at least we're trying something different today. Alright, so we made it to the central square. As you can see, it's quite busy because everybody's heading to work. I can already feel that my shirt is going to be super soaked when I get there. Damn, I was just biking past someone laying on the ground with a bunch of people around, and she had apparently crashed. Not sure if she crashed on her bike or if she just fainted while she was walking, but there was an older woman laying on the ground, and she had a napkin, and there were blood on that napkin, and she kind of had the napkin on her head, so I hope she's gonna be alright. She definitely looked conscious, so that's good, but man, you really gotta be careful biking in these streets. I think that was just another confirmation to wear your helmet. Don't just do it because you have to, do it because you actually want to. You want to protect your noggin. You want to make sure that your noggin works for the next many years. So yeah, remember to wear that helmet. Oh man, that was scary. Alright guys, those of you who knows that I'm almost at the office, so I'll stop the recording here, and then I will see you guys later. Beep beep. Es jueves y estoy aquí en la oficina con mi amigo René.
Hola.
Vamos, ¿cómo se dice? Let's have a great day.
Que tengamos un buen día.
Tengamos un buen día. Alrighty, it is 2 p.m. and I am heading home in between meetings. I want to try to finish the day a bit earlier today, or at least get home a bit earlier than I have the last couple of days. And yeah, that's one of the other beauties of working where I work. That is having the flexibility to kind of determine how I want to structure my day. And you know, if there's a business need to stay longer because some US coworkers need some help, well then, you know, of course I'm gonna do that. And then in days where that's not needed, then I'm gonna head home a bit earlier. So I like that I have the freedom to kind of determine that. And there's a trust from leadership in the fact that I'll do whatever that's best for the business. So that's awesome. So yeah, I've got 40 minutes before my next meeting. Actually 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Starts at 2:30. So yeah, that should give me plenty of time to head home. But let's see. Otherwise I'll have to take part of the meeting from my phone, but I don't think that's needed. I also need to start packing for the trip to Portugal, Lisbon specifically on Sunday. I think I'll start packing for that this evening or tomorrow. We'll see. Again, day by day, hour by hour. Alright, cool guys. I'll mount this camera on me again. Back in the early days of Lenus, I would almost never show up to work without having a shirt on. And over the last couple of months, I've been wearing a t-shirt and then some kind of a pullover on top of it, whether it being a half zip or a full zip or no zip at all. And it was actually a great feeling to wear a shirt again. I don't know why, there's just something around the signal and the mindset when you have a white shirt on, so, or any kind of shirt for that sake. And then adding the tie on top of that just solidifies that impact. And I think one of the reasons why I stopped doing it is when I'm biking, I have a tendency to put in a lot of effort, you know, bike fast with a lot of power, and I would end up in the office completely soaked. Like my shirt would be completely soaked. So I think what I have to think of is some kind of logistics, like maybe have a t-shirt on while I bike and then change to the shirt. There's a bunch of different possibilities around those logistics, so just need to kind of think of what would be the best option. There's also a brand here in Denmark called Lapfresh, and one of the things they advertise heavily about is how water resistant their shirts are, and they do both shirts and polos and t-shirts, but their shirts are supposed to be like water repellent, and what that means is that when you bike you won't end up with those wet spots everywhere on your shirt because the shirt is so good at repelling it. And I did try their their polos and their t-shirts, and honestly it did work. And then one of the other cool things is that you don't have to wash it as often. That's another added benefit. So I might stop by the Lapfresh store here in Copenhagen and then get a shirt just to kind of see if it works as well. Tomorrow I've committed to joining Run and Dip, which is this weekly tradition every Friday morning where a bunch of coworkers and we run in the vicinity. It could be 5, 6, 7, 8 or 10 kilometers, and we'll do it before work. I've personally joined it a handful of times, so not my proudest participation rate. That's a hard word. However, I will try to do it a bit more often. And the issue is that doing some of my last runs, I had a pair of running shoes that started to, unfortunately, smell a little bit. So what I did is that put them in the washer. Now, what I didn't adjust was the temperature, so I washed them on the highest setting, and then when they were dry afterwards, they had just shrunk so much. And that's also partially the reason why yesterday's run was so short. I actually could have ran a bit longer, but my feet was just hurting, so I need to either get myself some new running shoes or take a look at the ones that I have. I have another pair, and I want to see how it feels running in those. I've just used those for like everyday stuff, so not necessarily running. And I want to try just putting them on and then see if I can comfortably run in those. I recall they were like a tiny bit smaller in size than my actual running shoes. So yeah, we'll give it a try with those, and if it hurts too much, then I'd have to purchase a new pair of running shoes, which I plan on doing anyways, but yeah, let's give it a try. still have 15 minutes before my next meeting, so I should be able to make it home. It's usually 8-9 minutes from here. Alright, so it took us 5 minutes to get from the previous spot to here, so we should be more than fine. Cool, so we are almost home and the time is 2:24, so around 24 minutes. That's what it took us to get from the office to home. Alright, so I'm gonna head home, take the meetings, and then I will catch up with you guys. Alrighty, so I'm back home, and I just want to show you what I mean in terms of getting my shirt getting soaked when I bike. So I'm not sure if you can tell, but this is what it looks like when I bike with a white shirt. So yeah, definitely got to find a solution, you know, whether to wear a t-shirt or whether to stop by a Lab Fresh and then getting some of those water repellent shirts. Cool guys, I'm gonna jump into the meeting. See you later. Alright guys, it is 5 p.m. and I just finished my last meetings of the day. Now I'm gonna head over to the library where I'm gonna vote. The election is officially, for the municipality, is officially next week. But since I'll be in Lisbon, I have the opportunity to put in a vote this week. So that's what I'm gonna do, you know, using your democratic right. As soon as I do that, I'm gonna head home and then relax for the day. And my girlfriend, she'll be cooking some dinner here in the meantime. All right, see you later. Alrighty, we're now on our way to the library, put in the vote. It would have been quicker on the bike, but either way, it's a 3 to 4 minute walk instead of a 1 minute bike ride. And I felt like I needed to get in some steps as well. Alright. Alrighty, we're now in the booth, ready to put the X. I got these lists with the name of the candidates and the parties that they represent. I'll see you guys there. Alrighty, we've now put in our vote. It's in this building over here. And now I'm gonna head over to a clothing recycling spot where I'm gonna, or clothing donating spot where I'm gonna donate a turtleneck that I don't use anymore, and then I'll head home for dinner. Cool.